Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Transcending Together. It's me, Alex John Bell, and I'm here today to talk about something that I'm really excited about. I have been wanting to talk about this for a couple weeks now, but it took me a while to get my hands on this particular book, and then when I did, I had to read the book, and we're finally here. I've read the whole book, and today we are going to be talking about Towards Rest, which is a book created by the Alabaster Company. I believe I'm saying Alabaster correctly, but I'm not entirely positive if I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry, I think it's called Alabaster. But basically, Alabaster is a company that creates. How do I explain this? They basically take books of the Bible and turn them into beautiful individual books like this. So I believe I've done a review of Psalms and Proverbs on my channel. Unless I took that video down. I don't believe I took that video down, but it should be still up there, but I'm not entirely positive. But basically, they take individual books of the Bible and then they turn them into these beautiful books that have images inside of them and things like that. It's kind of like a magazine, but they're really beautiful, high quality books. They are pretty expensive. So in order to buy one individual book, so say you want to go buy the book of Genesis, I believe it's like $38 for one book. So it is a little pricey to buy the individual books instead of just going and buying a Bible and reading the Bible like straight up. But it's definitely an enjoyable experience reading them from those particular Bibles. So that's information about the Alabaster Company. But today we're not reviewing the Bibles. Today we're reviewing a book that they actually wrote called Towards Rest. And this book is absolutely amazing. And I just want to preface this video. Obviously, you've probably figured that out by now. If you are not a Christian, I know not all of my subscribers are Christians. If you are not a Christian and you are, of some other faith or denomination and you're not interested in this video, then you can just go ahead and skip this video. Please don't unsubscribe to me. I don't do, as you know, I don't do strictly Christian videos. I do other like religions and faiths and spiritual backgrounds as well. So today we just happen to be talking about a Christian book. But if you are interested in this book, hi, welcome to this video. And I'm going to kind of just briefly talk to you about this book. I'm not going to go into like major detail about it because I didn't really take any notes. I'm kind of just winging this video right now, so bear with me. So how do I explain this book? So basically this book is all about how to learn how to rest, and that was one of the reasons why I was so interested in picking up this book, because I have a very hard time with rest. I feel like I constantly have to be doing something, and if I'm not constantly doing something, like if I'm not I'm an author, so if I'm not constantly writing my books or filming a YouTube video or filming my podcast or reading a book or doing something productive, I feel very blah about myself. And I actually just had a conversation with someone about this last night on the phone. And I said to her, it's one of my caseworkers from this program that I'm a part of. She and I were talking. I called her because I was having kind of a hard night. And I said, listen, I'm having a hard night. I am feeling very fatigued today because for those of you that don't know, I struggle with chronic fatigue really bad. So I was like, I'm really fatigued today and I don't know what to do. I want to get stuff done. I want to be productive. I want to do this. I want to do that. And she was like, Alec, just rest. And I was like, oh. And the funniest part about the whole thing was that I had been reading this book and I wasn't paying attention to anything that I obviously wasn't paying attention to anything that this book was telling me. So this book is all about rest, and it is Christian focused, but I think that it's not heavily preachy. They do use quotes from the Bible and things like that, and they do talk about God, but it's just a very beautiful book. So let me just read you the back of the book so that you kind of get a better understanding of what this book is about. So it says, God rests. From the very beginning, rest is marked with sacred significance among all of creation. God calls individuals and communities alike into lives, rhythms, and conventions of rest. More than a mere afternoon nap, rest is a holy orientation and divine chronology that completes life as we know it. Just as God rests, we rest with God. On this matter, God's way of life is stridently opposed to that of the world's. In rest, we witness a clash between stillness and hurry, calm and anxiety, and freedom and exploitation. However gentle in its appearance, rest is no small thing. Rest calls forth worship, play, and liberation. Rest reacquaints us with our soul, our environment, and our relationship. This book is meant to move us towards rest, into recovering its wisdom and consequence in our lives. As we contemplate practice these many qualities of rest, may our personal lives be rejuvenated, our lives strengthened, and our communities reoriented towards justice and peace. And may we rest with God. So that is a little bit of information about the book. So let me kind of explain a little bit how this book is set up. So there's 4 chapters. There is rest in God, rest in awareness, rest in resilience, rest in play, rest in community, rest in pace, and rest in changing the world. And as you can see, I'll try to show you the best I can. So as you can see, you open it up, and there's this beautiful scenery, but like there's images all throughout, and I think part of what makes this so appealing is that it's visually appealing, you know? It's something that like you pick up and you're like, wow, this is so beautiful. I really enjoy the way that it looks visually. Sorry, I'm trying to flip the page. There's just like beautiful scenery and so much, and you know, you wouldn't think that it really adds to the book, but it does. And it makes it so much easier to read because you're not just reading, you know, you're not just reading a book with words on it, which I can do that too because I'm an author and I love reading and whatever. But so let's kind of talk a little bit about what's inside the book. So there was something that was said in here last night, and I can't remember what it was, but I'm trying to find it. But you know, it really has a lot of great information in it. I'm trying to find what I was looking at last night. I knew I should have bookmarked it. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. There was a quote that I really liked that I wanted to point out, but but I can't find it. So anyway, but it just, you know, it talks about a wide variety of things, you know. It talks about being aware. So like there's a chapter in here about rest and awareness. So it talks about being aware of your surroundings, and not only that, but being aware of yourself and being aware of your needs, which is really important. It talks about play and how we as adults, we kind of lose our desire for play, or not lose our desire for play, but we lose our need for play as we get older. But that's not the right way of putting it either. It's just like it was talking about how we have to we have to reconnect with our inner child and learn to play and not take life so seriously all the time, because I know that I'm kind of that person who's always taking everything so seriously, and that can be really challenging. And it's so beautiful. It really is. I'm looking for that quote again. I wish I had bookmarked it. This was really interesting. So it talks about in the rest and pace chapter, it talks about Jesus, and it talks about why would Jesus go and spend 40 days by himself, you know, when he went off and did his thing for 40 days. Why did he go and do that instead of just taking a weekend? And then it also says, why did he wait 30 years to begin his ministry when he could have started it at 18? You know, and then it asks the question, why does God wait to save the world? Which I also thought was really interesting. Yeah. I can't find the quote that... Oh, I found it. So this is something that I have a hard time with. It says, we believe the story. If I am not saturating my schedule to its limits, then I am not doing all that I can do to be a good worker, a good partner, a good friend, a good parent, really anything good. If I do not do enough, I am not enough. And I really resonated with that. And the reason why I wanted to point that specific quote out is because I think we can all kind of relate to that, you know? It's really hard because we live in a world where we're constantly moving and we're constantly going, and everything we're taught that we have to constantly be moving, and if we're not constantly moving, then we're not being successful enough. And I just want to share this little brief part. This is the sad irony of our condition, is that this frenzied pace does not make us more whole, but the opposite. Despite its shiny facade, busyness fails us. Stretching ourselves beyond the limits and working more does not equip us to better to love, to freely hand our grace, to forgive, or to offer compassion. Instead, it leads us to unhealthy cycles of anxiety, stress, and self-concern. Contrary to our expectations, it renders our souls brittle and malnourished. And I totally agree with that. This book was just so amazing, and if you're somebody who has a hard time with learning how to rest and learning how to just exist in this world and be okay with not being productive all the time, I highly suggest this book. It was really great. I read it in 7 days. There were 7 chapters, and I read a chapter a night, and it really resonated with me. It's easy to read. It's not difficult at all. The images inside are absolutely stunning. It's just a beautiful book, and I absolutely love Alabaster Company for making this book. So thank you all for being here during this kind of crazy, chaotic review of this book today. If you haven't already, I have a podcast. If you haven't checked it out already, I have a podcast on my YouTube channel. There's 2 episodes up right now, and I would love if you went and checked it out. You can also find it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at Transcending Together. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This channel is not a Christian channel, so if you're a Christian and you're watching this video, do not be surprised by some of the things that you see on this YouTube channel. This is not a Christian YouTube channel. I consider myself to be a Christian, but I use this YouTube channel to kind of educate people on different religions and spiritual paths and kind of just have open discussions about different things. So do not be surprised by some of the things that you see on this YouTube channel. But if you're into that sort of thing, if you're a little bit more progressive and you want to join in on the conversations, then totally subscribe and join the community. I would love to have you here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all again in another video real soon. Love you all. Bye.